Hello, my friends, my dear audiences. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on East-West Show with the G&E TV. Last week and the week before, for twice, we talked about the border crisis, and it is something that really feels the headache. It's a huge one. Yet, without getting into the nature of the picture, the true nature of the picture, or see another version of the picture, which is the foundation of the picture, you do not even get the answer. You do not even get to understand the problem. So today, let's decide to go one step further into the problem, into the crisis. Joining me is my good friend and handsome and powerful attorney at law of Southern California, more precise of Los Angeles downtown, Mr. Dennis Chan. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Hello.
All right. Every time when you are here, I feel that I can take it easy because I can always turn to anything into a question form. Say, hey, how do you think? Like that kind, right?
Sure.
Sure. That said, still there are mysteries, or there are misconceptions needs to be clarified about the border problem. We do understand that the border of Arizona, New Mexico, from the east end, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and Los Angeles. I'm in Southern California. So a whole line is kind of being messed up, and we are doing now this time we're trafficking because we're busing them from one location to another just to reduce the pressure. Now. Lots of people starting to point fingers. Lots of fingers are being pointed at this moment, but mostly saying that it is about somebody's fault or some party's fault. What kind of issue is that? What is misconception? Or what are the misconceptions to your understanding, please?
Well, thank you, Jack. I think one of the primary misconceptions is that our government, President Obama, the United States of America, has basically extended their open arms and said, come on in, we're welcoming you, our borders are open, come on through. And I don't really think that's the actual case. I think people believe that's the case because of what's going on, but I don't think that's really in reality what's happening. Historically, there was a law that was enacted in 2008 under President George Bush, signed into law by the Republicans. That was designed to prevent child trafficking. And in that law in 2008, what it basically said was for immigrant children, unaccompanied children, coming from a non-contiguous country, not coming from Mexico, not coming from Canada, but from other countries beyond those borders, when they arrive at the border, they can't just be turned around and sent back. They have to be taken in and given humanitarian relief and be evaluated for any potential amnesty or other immigration claims that they have.
And court procedures.
Right. And that, I think, is the pores in the border that we're seeing, which is actually, interestingly enough, a Republican law. So I think that's the first fundamental misconception, is that we have not opened our borders and we have not opened our arms and welcomed these immigrants. But it's basically that loophole or that law that was enacted back in 2008, which is begin to cause this crisis.
But lots of people say it was the Obama Dream Act that was misread or that was delivering the wrong information or message were wrongly read to them. Do you think that's a point?
I've heard that argument, and that's an interesting argument. And I have a slide, and maybe we can put that up, and that's this one with the bar graphs. It talks about Central Americans are seeking asylum in other countries too.
Oh yeah, they do other countries too.
So what this is showing us is that
other countries meaning Panama?
Right.
Nicaragua?
Right.
Costa Mesa.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, I'm sorry.
And
Costa
Belize.
Rica and Belize.
Right. Now, if it was in fact the DREAM Act, that, oh, we've got word that the United States is welcoming these
let's
illegal
go to the United
aliens,
States, right?
let's go, I think that contrary to what we see on this slide, that we would see a disproportionate number of people coming into the United States. That's not what we're seeing. We're seeing people not only come into the United States, but other countries also.
And if you see the color matching, though, they're probably by the same ratio, right?
Right, exactly. There's a lot of them are going to Mexico, a lot of them are going to Panama,
exactly.
Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Belize. So there's no DREAM Act in these other countries. So I think what this is showing us is that there's actually a larger push factor from these source countries than there is a pull factor from the United States. And I think that push factor is the violence that's going on in El Salvador. And
in other words, what you're saying is that is their problem, domestic problem, pushing them away.
Exactly.
And keep pushing.
Exactly.
It has been pushing historically.
Exactly.
Ever since, right?
Exactly. And in fact, I have some statistics here.
All right, okay. Yeah, that's curious.
One statistic is that between 2009 and 2012, a civilian was more likely to be killed by violence in Guatemala, Honduras, or El Salvador than someone would be killed in Iraq during that Iraq conflict.
Oh, I see.
So more people were dying of violence in those countries than in the Iraq war.
In countries with no war, more than countries in war.
Right. And actually, I think they are in a war, and it's basically a drug war. And there's incredible violence.
I see.
A lot of these young people, children that are coming in, are talking about the violence that they're being exposed to in the source countries. Saying that it's very difficult, if not impossible, to be a young person in that country. They are risking death, rape, and other very horrendous situations to try to get out of those countries.
In other words, they are running out of their own problems. Right? It's not that we are being more soliciting to them, or not even invitations to send to them. So. Nothing as usual, unusual. We act as exactly as usual as before, right?
We are, but we're being overwhelmed by the numbers. The numbers are increasing dramatically.
And then question remains, when you say it has been a Republican law, why fingers are pointed to Democrats? So it looks confusing to me.
President Obama is in office. Another very interesting statistic is that President Obama has more people have been deported under President Obama than our past Republican presidents, which I found quite interesting.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Oh, they say that he was about to give an amnesty already.
Certainly we have the DREAM Act that's in place, and there's a lot of discussion going on now. Most recently, Obama is asking for several $1 billion to deal with the crisis right now.
$3.75 billion. Right. Okay.
Right.
But it is also confusing to me, even to Obama administration. On one hand, Obama approved the law, signed the law of the DREAM Act, and on the other, he's deporting more than the former president. And then rumors has it saying that he's about ready to give the amnesty. So it's all kind of messed up.
Right.
So what is he? Or what is he going to do?
You know, as you know, there's a lot of different types of immigrants. There are these unaccompanied minor children from Central American, South American countries. There are the dreamers. Young kids that were brought into this country as infants that basically have grown up here, that have been educated here. Many now are becoming doctors and lawyers and engineers. Those are our dreamers. There are illegal aliens coming in from Mexico. So there's all different types of different categories of immigrants, illegal and otherwise, and they're being treated differently. So I think that's part of what we're seeing.
So, in other words, Obama administration tried to categorize them in different groups.
Sure.
To be treated with different laws or different measures.
Sure.
Is
Sure.
that what he is planning to do?
Sure. Well, I think it only makes sense. I mean, if you look at the Dreamers, as an example, a person that was brought to this country when they were 6 months old,
All right.
and they've grown up here. And English may be their only language, and they've gone to school here, and they've gone through our colleges. Like I say, many are now becoming doctors and lawyers. You know, those people certainly are in a different position, and I think deserve to be treated differently than an illegal alien coming in from Mexico looking for better economic opportunities.
I see. All right.
So they're different people in different positions.
After all, Dennis, correct me if wrong. When we talk about the being legal or illegal, it's just a matter to lots of folks. They believe it is just a matter of time. Because if you look around, look back into everybody around us, except those who were born here, if they come here after they are born, there is always, or probably more than 50% of the chances that first they came here illegally. Later they found themselves an opportunity to join the Army, join the Navy, to be picked up by somebody, hired by somebody, or marry somebody, and then time took care of it, and then they become legally. Right? So then it turns out to be a cliche saying it's only a matter of first come, first served. Now no seats open, please go back, or we're not taking you. So am I right if I'm saying that at least 50% of folks believe that way? Do you think so?
Probably, and I think for the most part it's true. I think it's very interesting looking at the difference between what the law books say and what happens in reality. I mean, we all see illegal immigrants, illegal aliens probably every day out in the streets, and they're walking around and they're living their lives.
Sure.
They're doing they're doing fine. But I think realistically, what I found, at least in my practice, there's 3 ways illegal aliens get into trouble and get deported.
All right.
Number 1 is go to jail. If you end up going to jail, by the time you get through released, either county jail or state prison, you're going to go through an immigration check, and they'll snatch you up and they will deport you.
They'll do it not right away. You have to wait.
They'll process you.
For the process, and during the process, things might happen. Some even run away.
Well, especially for violent crimes, for serious crimes, they'll be taken and transferred into immigration custody.
All right.
So 3 ways for an illegal alien to get deported. Number 1, go to jail. Number 2, leave the country and then try to get back in. And then that's not deportation, but that's exclusion. I have had clients that have come back into the country and try to re-enter. Oh, you had a conviction for domestic violence. We're not going to let you back in the country.
Okay.
That's being excluded.
I see.
And the third is, incredibly, a lot of times this happens, people will go into the immigration office for an interview, for an appointment, to fill out some forms and ask a question, and many times they're taken into custody right at the immigration office when they walk through the front door.
So they found something.
Yeah.
They found something about this person.
Right.
Ha-ha, here you go.
And then they get taken into custody. So I think in reality,
sounds very scary.
That's the 3 ways that I'm seeing people actually get deported.
I see.
I don't see the immigration department in their bus driving up to someone's home and making raids and taking people into custody and deporting them. That I don't see.
All right. Okay. All right. That's very interesting to know. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll find out from of course, a crime point of view. So let's see what kind of problem we have now. So stay with us, please.